mentioned Saunders, of course, and while we appreciate him giving us something to talk about during these sparse times for the boxing media, not really the ideal fare that we were looking for. What was your initial reaction when you heard about the controversial video he posted?
Really disappointed, really disgusted and disappointed in him. I like Billy Joe. I've always have. I don't know. You get a soft spot for fighters, Danny. You know that as you spend a lot of time around them, and I remember Billy when he was in the amateurs, and he was causing a few issues then, and he turned pro with Frank, and there was that big night with De Gale and Gavin and him, and I always thought actually even then, I know James went on and achieved a huge amount, and Frankie unfortunately didn't, but I always thought Billy Joe was the one that was going to go on and have the sort of professional talent. He looked like that sort of that hardened fighter who's going to have the most success, and he's had a good career, but he's missed out on some of the big nights, and I think part of that has been down to the stupidity of some of his actions. And this isn't the first time. There's been other instances, and it's like he doesn't think. It's like he's got this sort of warped humor, and he just doesn't sort of get situations right. I was really, when I saw it, I was obviously, appalled like everybody about it, and it's just, I don't know what he was thinking. And I got on the phone to Eddie and I said, well, what is he, and Eddie went, it's the same day that he went and gave the NHS some money and supplies. So you just don't know what's going on in there. And I know he's come out and apologised, but it was a very, very bad thing to do, and disgusting. And it unfortunately gets into the mainstream news. It doesn't do him any favours. It doesn't do the sport any favours, and it's just a real shame, Danny.
What do you think could be the consequences for him? Obviously, the board have suspended his licence as of yesterday. There's no boxing at the moment anyway. His next fight was anticipated to be in the US, which may not be an issue considering it's just his British licence that would be suspended. Do you think there'll be kind of longer term consequences for him?
Possibly. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just you got to think at the moment, right, of people out there, people who are in real bad health, who are really struggling. And as I said, I think at the beginning of this, that tag, be nice, just think of others at this time. It's like if you can do anything, which is just, if you're helping elderly relatives or you're helping people that can't get their food or something, it's just, when you go out in the park in the morning for a walk, for a run, you see people and people are saying hi. People are much more friendly. It's like
from a distance.
At distance, of course, but people are genuinely being, sort of almost like, even though you can't approach them, they're being very approachable, and I think that's a nice balance. I think that everybody's in the same boat. This is not affecting one part of the population or one group. It's affecting everybody. So I think you've got to think of others at this time, and but Billy, look, as I said, I like Billy Joe. I've had many great chats with him. I find him endearing at times, but really stupid at other times. And I just don't get it. Is it just that he doesn't think, and he does just, really, it's no consequences, but you've got to have consequences, when you're in the public eye like he is, when you're a role model, because all, kids look up to world champions, kids look up to fighters, and you sort of, whoever they are, Tyson Fury, has been an incredible story over the last couple of years for being so honest about where he's been and how he sort of fought his way back. And I know he's said some bad and stupid things in the past, but it's almost like he says them and he comes again, and Billy's done that straight away. He's come again and he said, I'm sorry, he's apologized and all of that, the right things to do. But it's like, why in the first place? Why is someone not just holding him back and saying, look, think before you do something? As I said, it's not like it's the first time he's got himself into trouble. But I do think there's good in Billy Joe. I think that he's just, done some stupid things, and this was a bad one. This was a terrible one. Everyone's got to say that it's horrendous what he did. And look, it's now up to the board. It's not up to us to make a decision whether he fights or not. The board decide here. If they give him a suspension, as you said, there's no boxing for the moment. So will they make it longer? Will they throw the book at him? In which case, it's going to be difficult here. But he was going to fight in America, and how are they going to take it? I mean, this is boxing. There's always seems to be a place to rebuild, to find a loophole with it. Look at Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller done for drugs, and now signed up by Top Rank, and has a whole new sort of new guys. So there's always seems to be a place for problematic cases, shall we say, and a way of coming back. But he should, I'm glad he's gone and apologised. I'm glad he's going to do some good now, but he really has to look at himself in the mirror and say, right, this is a time where, not just now, not just an apology, but the next, 6 months, he's got to really do good things, and then maybe he'll win the public back, and let's hope he does.
In these sort of situations, do you ever kind of catch some flack from some of the higher ups at Sky? Adam, one of your boxers has said this, we're all over the media kind of thing.
Yeah, I was on a conference call this morning with all the senior Sky Sports leadership team, and it was a weird one, because we all sort of offer what's happened to us in the last 24 hours. It's been quite big for boxing, because obviously dates have been rescheduled. We've had the news about Robert Smith's announcement to the NMA, and then the Billy Joe story. But the Billy Joe news gets into Sky News, it gets into the BBC, it gets into wider news, and you can't ignore it. So people see it. It's not just boxing fans. And I had to not sort of answer questions about it, because it's a fighter that's done it. It's not it's, as I said, it's something for the board to deal with, or his people, his group, his promoter. But you heard Eddie come out and say how disgusted he was with it, and he's his promoter, so and rightfully so. It was what was he thinking? It was disgusting. And I tried to explain on the call this morning that as bad as it was, I think he does have this humor, this sort of kid-like strange humor, which maybe warped or difficult as it is, maybe it's not an excuse, but I'm trying to look at why he might have done it. And it's, as I said, it's not the first time. There are other instances where he's found things funny where a lot of the public haven't. And it's difficult. I think he said like stand-up comedians and stuff, they don't get treated like death threats or whatever. But stand-up comedy is an art form, isn't it? He's a fighter, and he's an athlete, and I think that getting involved in these sort of areas is just wrong. And it didn't go down well in obviously in the hierarchy of Sky, and nor should it. But as I said, it doesn't mean, in my opinion, it doesn't mean it's the end of Billy Joe Saunders as a fighter. I mean, he's come straight out. He's trying to do some good. As I said, apparently he helped the NHS out on the same day as well with supplies and stuff. And as I'm saying, if I had any advice, if I get Billy Joe on the phone, I would say to him, look, get out and do some good. Think about other people at the moment, what you can do, offer your services, as an athlete to go and help people. I don't know, sign up for the NHS, do something really constructive, and then maybe, when this sort of blows down a bit, and maybe he accepts his punishment from the board, whatever that will be, he'll come out of it and he'll have learned, and I think that's all he can do, and learn and get better. And as I said, there is a really nice part to Billy Joe. So I'm hoping that he will learn from it, and he'll come again.